Yes, we have people join us from all over the place throughout the week, and sure is a fun group to be part of. So again, my appreciation for you taking the time to join us. And what we're talking about today is we're talking about a beginning. You know that the famous line in the beginning. So what we've done is to start to get ready for Lent. We got Lent coming up, which is sort of the Easter season for those of you who aren't familiar with that term. We'll be starting that up in March. But I thought over the next like 6 weeks, maybe take a look at the story of creation as a way to lead up into the Easter season. And the place to begin is in the beginning. Now, a little caveat with this as we go through this is, I'm a member of the Christian New Church, and our particular denomination, sometimes referred to as the Swedenborgian Church, after Emanuel Swedenborg. Emanuel Swedenborg in the New Church is like Martin Luther to Lutherans. We hold the Bible very poetically. In other words, there are literal parts to it. Jesus literally lived, he literally did these things. And then there's other parts over here that are far more poetic in nature, and they're designed to be poetry. They're designed actually to help us to see bigger truths. And a lot of the time, poetry helps us more than anything else to do that. And we can see how the story was not meant to be taken literally when we look at the story of creation. I mean, one of the prime examples, I think, is first people created, Adam and Eve. They have two sons. And eventually those two sons get married. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, right? If the first two people only had two boys and then they go off and get married, that doesn't make sense, right? And people didn't trip over that. These were stories, these were poems that were designed to teach us these beautiful, beautiful truths about God, about the world, and most importantly, how we grow. And it's always about this growth thing. So that idea of looking at the poetry of it, looking underneath the literal words, and not seeing it as 7 literal days of creation, but instead seeing it as a process of creation, a process of creation in our lives, a process of creation that's blessed by God. It's not necessarily talking about what we must do, it's talking about what God is doing. And that's where I want to start. So in the beginning, the very first line from Genesis 1 is this very simple, very powerful line. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. That beautiful idea. Well, there's a couple of things that folks, that I just find beautiful. One is the idea of in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. So that heaven and earth are sewn together right from the very start. And that's what we always have to remember, like just going back to that heaven is near. And that other word there, created. As we look at life, it's important to understand, this idea of creation and understand it not as a static event, but to understand it as something that is ongoing, to understand it as something that continues to grow and grow and grow. One of my favorite lines from Christian New Church theology is maintenance is perpetual creation. So in other words, for anything to stay the same, it's constantly being recreated. And that's a very, very different view, I think, than this idea of lines. Like I've said it many times, and so I still fall prey to it. Like that there's lines out there. And once I get past this, then all of a sudden we're done. And the task is over. And that's not how it works. I mean, it's been interesting. I'm sure some of you can resonate with this if you're on the older side like myself. I used to have this idea. My wife and I would raise our kids and then parenting would be done. We'd have no more worries about our kids, et cetera, et cetera. But that has not turned out to be true at all, even with parenting, seeing how parenting shifts. And one just simple one I was thinking about today with relationships, and I used these rocks, a couple of days ago, and it just came to my mind working with couples, doing a lot of marriage counseling, about working with couples over time, and how the first part of marriage, right, is we have all these judgments about our partner, but they're beautiful. He's so funny. She's so beautiful. He's so this, she's so that, but they're beautiful. We're constantly sliding these beautiful compliments, just like these beautiful gems back and forth to each other. And then that habit, then those gems get replaced by rocks of judgment. Like you start passing those, like he's so selfish. She's so mean, it gets pushed back and forth and back and forth. And we get into that habit. And so much of recreation in relationships is when we finally get to the point where we're like, maybe I should stop doing that. Maybe that's not serving anyone. Now, of course, there are times to make judgments. I mean, we have to make judgments in life. Good luck not making them. But it's this habitual, like, I'm gonna pass these rocks over to you. This is about all who you are. And no one likes to be told constantly who they really are, as if we really know who they really are. That's God's business. And see, folks, even there, it's with marriage. And I feel this really strongly with working with couples is this idea of regeneration, recreation, that idea that there's nothing wrong per se with that first part of marriage, where we're pushing across gems, which is beautiful stuff. And that's true. And then we go through this other part where we kind of turn those gems into stones. We push those across to our partner, all these harsh judgments. And the crazy part is not that that's a great place to hang out, but it may well be a necessary phase. It may be something we all go through. And we can see that as an invitation to another kind of marriage on the other side of that, where we both kind of give up this stuff and instead just work on being a loving presence. There's so many examples of that, folks. And that's as we go through this story, like, think about it. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. And it's this start, and it's this constant restarting that we get to do, this constant invitation to do it a little differently, to allow God to do his work. His work's regeneration. Our work is the work he gives us to do, is our lives, right here and right now. So just as we enter that, just think about that today. Just take a little breath. And where would you like to see that new creation in your life, to see something new? And I'll close with this beautiful line from Psalm 104. You send out your spirit, God, they will continue to be created, and you renew the face of the ground. And that idea that's what we all are. We all will continue to be created or continue to be recreated. So that's our thought for today, friends. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do our little meditation, little prayer, little blessing. As always, you can leave a comment on New Church Live's Facebook page. Or you can leave it any of the places where we stream, and we'll be doing the best I can to catch up with all the other comments. So with that, friends, let's get a big breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, friends, let's give a cheery hello to those of you who've been able to join me to this morning and join us in this wonderful group. Again, you can leave comments on New Church Live's Facebook page, and let this thing come up here. It takes a little bit of time, and yeah, I hope you're all doing well here. All right, we're almost there. We go. Sorry, it takes a little bit of time, folks. My phone is getting, I guess it's just getting plain old. Just getting plain old. All right, lots of comments here today. Okay, let's say hi to people here. Martha, good morning to you, my friend. Paige, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Rita, good morning to you. You and thank you for that little heads up yesterday. Rick, good morning to you, buddy. Hopefully, you have a good drive ahead of you today, something fun. Molly joining us from over in Ireland. Molly, I love the pictures out of your front window, by the way. I don't know how you guys, it's probably exactly where you live. Like literally, like that would be, I would just live in front of that window because it's such a beautiful view. Susan, great to see you and good morning to you. Carl, where would we like to experience new creation? Good question. It's really interesting, right, Carl? Like, this idea of regeneration, like being constant, I mean, it's a quote I use a lot. I'm sure I'll use it in here. The furthest we can get in life is a seed for the next, furthest phase we can get in life is a seed for the next, which I find that really, really powerful. Patty, good morning to you. Oh, Megan writes, good morning. Love listening to Letter from a Birmingham Jail. My friend played it for a sociology class at Rosemont College. You know what? It's stunning, actually, Megan. And I don't know. It's hard to put into language what that all means, especially being a clergy member, because it's so easy to just try to work at keeping the peace, and there's nothing wrong with that per se. But Martin Luther King in that letter is constantly reminding us, like, there's work to be done and our job is to do it. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. uh Mary, what a welcome insight. Creation is not static, and it just isn't. It's this ongoing thing. I mean, a little silly thing, folks. You realize that our bodies have several million cell divisions a second? Like, that's craziness, right? So recreation is literally built right into our very DNA. So, friends, always great chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Wishing you folks a beautiful, wonderful day. Find a little new creation in there, and we will see you again tomorrow. God bless. Take care.